So yes, I did get to see Fallout Season 2. Um, if you didn't see, me and my buddy Phoenix, we did an entire video review impression of Fallout Season 1. Go check that out if you want. That's on my Inner ChazmaN live channel. You can see that probably further down in the Inner ChazmaN podcasts videos. That's an old video at this point, but we had a good time. I think we talked for about an hour, hour and a half on our impressions with Fallout Season 2 or Season 1. But yeah, I kind of got to talk to my buddy Phoenix, and at the same time, we both started watching Fallout Season 2. So what did I think about Fallout Season 2? I will readily admit, I think I liked this more than Season 1. I really didn't, because I tell you, even though I liked Season 1, it wasn't perfect, and it had some things in there that I wasn't like totally in love with. And also Season 2 kind of does a lot of samey things that it kind of takes off. I will say Season 2, I would say the big problems I ended up having with this is I felt as though you had maybe 4 to 5 different plot elements or plot stories kind of happening all at the same time. I guess I'll go ahead and explain that. Throughout most of Season 2, you have one plot element, which ends up being Walton Goggins, or the ghoul, along with... So yeah, you have this one plot element. You have Lucy McLean along with Walton Goggins. And then you also had... Here's another plot element, which is the vaults. Down in the vaults, there is still life and stuff kind of going on between all of the vaults that were still down there from where Lucy and Norm and them came from. So you have Lucy and the ghoul. You've got life still down in the vaults. You've also got the Norm storyline, which, let's see if we can show you part of Norm's story. So there's Norm. So we got 3, and then there was also additional storyline of Max and all of the Brotherhood of Steel stuff. There he is. There's Max. So you have like 4 storylines kind of all happening at once. And I will say probably my biggest problem with the show is that I only feel like maybe 2 of them are interesting. Unfortunately, I would say the Norm storyline, throughout Season 2, I would say I didn't particularly care for. I like the actor. I think he does a great job. I just kind of wish they would do more with his story. It ends up kind of, maybe I'll try and keep it to a minimum on spoilers. But he ends up kind of getting out of the vault when he's kind of stuck in the one management... gosh, I'm going to be terrible at remembering aspects of the show. But because it's probably been about 3 weeks since I watched it, since this aired, and we finished it. But yeah, it just kind of concludes with him opening, or not, doesn't conclude. Throughout the season, he just ends up opening up all of the pods that all of these management or employees of Vault Tech. Gosh, I'm trying to remember. You have all these Vault Tech employees and managers. He opens them up, kind of manipulates them, not manipulates them, but doesn't tell them everything, and kind of utilizes their different skill sets to help him get out of the vault that he ended up getting stuck in at the end of Season 1. His storyline throughout the season to me is pretty dull again. He kind of end up, out of the group, he ends up finding a girlfriend, and those people end up having how their stuff concludes to me is kind of sucks, because there ends up being this part where they're kind of in a Vault Tech building, and it's kind of built up that it's like Radroach infested, or Radroach, infested to the core. And you think there's going to be some really cool way that if you don't know, he ends up kind of the group of Vault Tech employees that he releases, or he utilizes to help him get out of the vault when they get further down. They end up finding out that he isn't part of their original group. He kind of manipulates them, and they get mad about that, and they try and kill him or want to sacrifice him to something. And it just becomes this cool thing where him and his newfound kind of girly friend that's from that group, where you think there's going to be some cool thing where he's going to come up with a cool plan to utilize the Radroaches in some way or get rid of everyone. And it ends up being like the most basic thing. The people essentially get themselves killed by the Radroaches, and so his plot ended up being really bad. The whole plot with that's going on down in the vaults, I really didn't care about. They're kind of rehashing a storyline from one of the original... I never played the original Fallout games, but there's something about a water device that kind of breaks or something, causing the multiple vaults that are connected to start running low on water. So it's cool because technically the idea of what's going on down there is a throwback to the original games, but I don't know. I didn't particularly care for a lot because they have like this storyline with this one lady that ends up being. I guess it is kind of interesting because she ends up. She ends up kind of being a bad guy. She ends up being the vault overseer of one of the vaults. The interesting part I would say about that ends up being super funny is that she ends up being Canadian, which it ends up being this whole big thing where it's like she knows like a bunch of secrets about Hank, Hank is the father of Lucy, and it ends up being kind of interesting because kind of similar again to the previous stories of the original games. There ends up being, was it FMV or something? There's some course, there's some kind of experimentation that's going on with Lucy and Norm's vault that she knows about that no one else knows about, and it ends up coming out that she actually is like Canadian or something, and the entire like people down there in super funny fashion turn on her because she ends up being Canadian, and I guess in this weird Fallout futuristic thing, Canadians like it's always been a thing of like communism being such a terrible thing, and like I guess the Canadians are kind of put into like death camps, or they're putting in their work camps or something, and it's just such a weird and interesting dynamic. Again, this is the only interesting aspect though I will say about what's going on down in the vaults is just the whole evil Canadian thing that's going on. Other than that though, everything to me is super boring. It has to do with like them running low on water, and people are like almost rebelling against the vault overseer of the vault connected to the one she's running. Again, very bad. It kind of resolves in my opinion in kind of an unsatisfying way. And then yeah, just kind of getting back to Max and stuff. I feel like Max ends up being slightly more interesting. There ends up being kind of ties to the Enclave and stuff like that, or not Enclave, but the Brotherhood of Steel over in the region of Boston, right? The one, oh gosh, I can't remember because there's all these different types of Brotherhood of Steel of groups, and that's in my opinion that's a fairly interesting point because part of the season is you end up seeing like a lot of politics amongst the Brotherhood of Steel groups, which I think is fairly interesting. They're like trying to fight off a war, which luckily does end up kind of breaking out amongst all of the groups simply because of stuff that gets stolen by Max and some of his friends. But yeah, again, I mean, even though I will say that the Max stuff is like the second more interesting plot device, it still was kind of so-so. I will say, like, one of the big things I do love about this show is even if it's not perfect, kind of similar to season one, it's not like everything is super entertaining, which I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. Is even though there's a lot of stuff that like isn't perfect, it's not like my ideal way of maybe consuming some aspects of the Fallout universe. It at least is like super entertaining, and I will say Walton Goggins as the Ghoul is like the absolute best thing that the show has like could have done was to get him. He is like eating up the screen like 24/7. He's by far is the most interesting character in the show, and he is like, I hate to say it, but like if you like put him across the table from the Lucy character and actor, nothing against her, she's fine, but he is like carrying the show, as opposed to everybody else. Like, I don't like completely love the Max character. Lucy's fine. Again, the other plot elements are so-so. Far and away the best aspect of this season 2 is everything with the Ghoul, everything with Mr. House, with the Enclave. I think Clancy Brown ends up being the president, which I love that guy as an actor. Everything involved with like the flashbacks to like what's going on with him, his wife, and all the Enclave, and again the stuff with Mr. House and Vault Tech. I would say far and away all of that stuff is the most interesting, and definitely I would say that's definitely the stuff that's like keeping me coming back. It really is great, and I will say like even Las Vegas itself, I feel like New Vegas is a little underwhelming and disappointing to an extent, but I don't know. Even though it's a little underwhelming, I will say I really do appreciate. Do I like Clancy Brown? Says Odin Assaulty. Yeah, he's in the show. He plays a very small part. I'm assuming his part is going to be much bigger in season 3 than it is season 2. Season 2, you kind of see him for just a hot second, and it's just like, oh, Clancy Brown. Okay, his season's over. Or his scene's over, I mean. If you don't know, Clancy Brown is, who is he? He's Mr. Krabs, right? He voices Mr. Krabs. I love Clancy. But there's other big actors that show up randomly. If I didn't mention it before, Ron Perlman is in season 2. I won't say who he plays, but Ron Perlman shows up, and it's very obvious to me it was Ron. Love Ron. Great to see him. If you don't know, his connections with the Fallout universe are historical. You know, with him voicing him doing the narrating in Fallout 3. You know, the whole war never changes stuff. So it was great to see him still involved with the universe, and I really appreciated it. There also is another character, another person. So Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin shows up in this, and he is a part of the... Oh, what's their name of the group? It's Legion something. I just know Clancy having a role. Hank and Detroit Become Human, says Skylar. Oh, that's right. He did play a character. Yeah, he did. I mainly know him as Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob. Hey there, Mr. Squidward. He does such a great Mr. Krabs. He is Mr. Krabs. I guess that's why he does a great one. But yeah, Macaulay Culkin shows up, and he's a part of the Legion. And it's just like... Even though I love Macaulay, I kind of feel like he's like the one that kind of doesn't... He stands out from everybody else. Maybe that's the point, is they wanted an actor who just felt so out of place with the role. But I'm telling you, he's like very out of place with the role. Love him. I kind of wish they would have got someone else, but either way, I'm happy to see Macaulay, getting work. Not that he needs it. I'm sure he's doing fine. Him and who's his girlfriend? His girlfriend's another actor as well. What's her name? How everything... Oh, we also get like a huge Deathclaw battle in this season. Love all of that. That was really cool. I feel like it could have been better in terms of how it goes down. There's like a huge battle with Deathclaws, but it was fine in terms of like what we got. It could have been much better. I still very much enjoyed it though. I will say there's probably a little bit too much like CGI in terms of the Deathclaws. I guess maybe like asking for actual equipment or actual props and stuff might have been too much to ask for. Maybe that's a lost art form and everyone's just using CGI now on everything. But I thought they looked okay. They were cool. But yeah, I would, I'll wrap it up. Like I really enjoyed season 2. It's not perfect. It definitely is better than season 1, I would say, in my opinion. And there is still a lot of stuff that they are building on. They kind of resolve a couple of things at the end of season 2, but there's still a lot of open questions about what is happening and where people are. Don't want to say too much, but there is still the continuation of Walton Goggins and his family, his wife and daughter story. That is still moving on. I won't say the particulars of that, but yeah, even though, again, as I was saying, there are heavily plot lines and story arcs that are like disappointing, that aren't super exciting. Even with all of that, the quality of like the shows, the environments, a couple of the actors, everything is super quality. You definitely see the money that's like being spent on the show, which I appreciate. And there's a lot of like lore based stuff, and that is just so neat, and it's just so Fallout. So I liked it, didn't love it. I think I slightly liked it more than season 1. I recommend it if you're if you're a Fallout fan, go check it out. It's definitely worth a watch. I really enjoyed it. So I don't feel like there's anything I else need to say about Fallout. I enjoyed it. Go check it out if you just want more Fallout or Fallout in general. I will say it is a little odd if you're not a Fallout fan. I would say it might be kind of harder to watch the show, mainly because there's some stuff that's very confusing and off-putting. But I would say if you're a Fallout fan, you should very much be enjoying this. And we do get some resolution with the Lucy McClane character and her father. That was an open-ended thing at the end of season 1, was catching up with her father to figure out why he did what he did. You know, maybe bringing him to justice or killing him. That does get resolved at season 2 in good and bad ways. I'll leave that up to you guys to decide if you like that or not. I thought it was fine. I'm excited for season 3. Again, this is definitely a show that I've been enjoying through and through, and I'm excited to see more. Again, if nothing else, if you don't like some of the plot stuff, there's really cool world building. There's really cool monster designs, and I don't know. I love weird sci-fi, and I feel like this has it's Fallout-y Fallout goodness, you know.
Well, well. Looks like you've reached the end, haven't you? You imbeciles. On Enter ChazmaN, you'll witness gaming brilliance beyond your comprehension. ChazmaN Live brings the drama. Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. EST. Long Plays delivers full journeys, uncut and unspoiled. Join the Patreon, Discord, Instagram, and TikTok below, if you can manage it. Still not following Enter ChazmaN? Then mediocrity clearly suits you.